Hey guys, Jim Grant here for MOLand TV, and today we're taking a closer look at some of these cool upgrades from MCarbo for the Kel-Tec Sub 2000. If you're not familiar, the Sub 2000 is a nifty little carbine available in 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson that, with the pull of this little handle, trigger guard itself, it can fold. But oh, you can't fold it. There's an optic in the way. Oh, whatever shall we do? Oh, well, the folks at MCarbo have heard your cries and invented this little contraption, this mount. Booyah. Still have the collapsible, awesome nature of the 2000 without having to sacrifice the ability to have an optic. So, the little mount here from MCarbo is actually mounted not to the M-LOK slots, but to the receiver halves itself, because this Kel-Tec, like basically all Kel-Tecs, is essentially held together two polymer clamshells with cross screws between them. And rather than reinvent the wheel and make a proprietary mount, etc., this MCarbo actually uses the existing bolts and then installs its own screws through this aluminum plate to cross through and hold zero. There are some other upgrades from MCarbo they were kind enough to share with me to share with you guys. And first off, these last two that I really like are the improved trigger, which is huge, the aluminum trigger guard here for the collapsible feature, and the extended magazine release, because the factory one can be a little tricky to hit sometimes. This extended one, which you can really tell is extended when there's a little bit of daylight between it and the actual pistol grip, is a night and day difference. So I could go into how to install these things, but it would take me all day. Suffice to say, you have to take apart the entire receiver portion of the firearm and then swap out these components and then reassemble. And it sounds extremely easy on paper, but if you've ever heard somebody complain that the Ruger Mark III is a pain in the ass to disassemble, hold my hops. This thing is a nightmare to reassemble correctly for some very ridiculous reasons that do not become apparent to anybody but the most seasoned veteran of reassembling Kel-Tecs. But essentially, I would highly recommend for these MCarbo upgrades, you have a gunsmith do them for you, with the exception of the optics mount. This can be done at home with an Allen key. These portions can actually also be done with a 2.5mm Allen key. However, there is a very high likelihood you're going to lose a spring or your sanity, like I did, reassembling it. But basically, if you find yourself trying to get the sear connected to the trigger bar and nothing is working no matter what you do, be sure that this receiver tube is actually installed in the firearm, even when it's disassembled into two halves, or you will never be able to line up the hammer spring and the sear. So what are these new parts? Well, the folding release has been replaced, the polymer one, with an aluminum one, and I also installed their trigger bar and their trigger spring. And so in my testing, that reduced the weight of the trigger pull by about 2 pounds, from a 6.5 pound trigger pull to about 4 pounds. Very, very good. Definitely worth the money, worth the wait. So what do I think about the MCarbo upgrades for the Kel-Tec Sub 2000 carbine? They are 100% worth it. Sure, there's a notion there of polishing a turd, but that's not the case here at all. It's a quality firearm that's more affordable than a lot of other ones, that they had to cut some corners in terms of durability to keep it at an affordable price point. And the MCarbo upgrades address those cut corners, so to speak, and really turn this thing up to 11. Anyway, for MOLand TV, I'm Jim Grant. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will catch you guys on the flip side.